We are universally aware that dogs hold the esteemed title of being mankind's closest companions, unwaveringly loyal allies ready to step in when needed most. Dogs are inherently adaptable to coexisting with humans, demonstrating remarkable devotion even when they've faced abandonment and life on the streets. Their loyalty remains steadfast throughout their lifetimes. Now let's delve into a remarkable tale that unfolded on a Christmas Eve in the Philippines, a time when genuine miracles come to fruition for those who truly believe. If we could narrate this story from the dog's point of view, it might go something like this. I remember those times very well when I still lived in a house next to my owners, but one day they had a little baby. He was so tiny, but no matter how much I tried to get close to him in order to smell him properly, my owners always shouted at me and drove me away so that I would not get in their way. A little while later, they decided that there was no more room for me in their bedroom, and they closed the passage upstairs for me. Now I only walked down the hallway and in the kitchen. Time passed, the baby grew up, and little by little began to crawl and leave the bedroom. I waited for the time when he would crawl to me on his own and play with me, since my owners completely stopped paying attention to me and getting me toys. They even fed me only when they remembered, and sometimes I had to remind them myself to do this. I took an empty cup in my teeth and threw it with a crash on the tile floor in the kitchen, but over time that stopped working and my owners were so angry that I could break the floor tiles that they decided to move me outside. Only they forgot to give me a bed. I slept curled up on the porch. Then I discovered that they had forgotten to give me water. I went to a bucket on a high shelf in which I hoped to find water, but didn't remember my strength and knocked over the entire shelf, along with the bucket and other things, directly onto the flower bed. According to my owner, this was the last straw. He grabbed my tail, and it hurt, and after that he threw me into the car and drove me somewhere. I waved out the window to the others, wagging my tail and promising to return soon. I did not know yet that this was the last time I would see them. We drove along the road for a very long time until we stopped at one strange place where there were a lot of garbage and packages. The owner opened the door for me and I jumped out joyfully and waited for him to come out and play with me, but he quickly slammed the door and drove away. I ran after the car for a long time, but it did not stop. Then I heard a strange sound nearby. In the mountain of garbage among the packages, I stopped to listen. No, it couldn't be. But I could not confuse this sound. It was a baby crying, just like my owner's baby cried when he first appeared on our house. I hurried closer to find where the sound was coming from, coming closer and sniffing the bundle. I was sure it was a human child, but where did he come from? I urgently needed to call someone for help. I needed to catch up with my owner. Maybe he would come back. I ran out onto the road barking loudly, at least somehow trying to attract the attention of a person. But there was no one on the road, so I ran further along the road to find at least one living person. With these thoughts in mind, the dog ran down the road in search of someone. General Fuentes Revilla rode his motorcycle to his parents to wish them a Merry Christmas. Just then, a huge dog jumped on him from the side of the road with a loud bark. General was no stranger after fighting off stray dogs. They often strove to bite his leg while on his motorcycle, but this time the dog behaved unusually. Yes, he barked, but he did not attack him. On the contrary, he seemed to jump back so that General could stop. The dog was clearly trying to attract his attention rather than attack or bite. Surprised by the behavior of the stray dog, General slowed down to a stop and got off his motorcycle. He tried to get closer to the dog, but as soon as the man approached, he jumped back. He needed General to follow him. After a while, General finally realized that the dog was clearly calling him somewhere and followed him. He was very curious about what was ahead of him. He guessed that the dog was leading him to puppies. Usually, stray dogs ask for human help when they need help with their puppies. He understood that now he had to do something with the homeless puppies that awaited their arrival. He had even taken off his jacket and was holding it in his hands to put the small dogs in for warmth home to General's. The dog knew exactly where to go, so very soon he took General to the trash heap and walked with firm confidence through the mounds of garbage. The man was now beginning to doubt where the dog was leading him, but he still went after him. To his surprise, instead of expected puppies, he saw a human baby wrapped in a towel. The baby was no longer crying, but seemed as if it was fast asleep. Junrel immediately grabbed the baby, wrapped him in his jacket, and ran towards the road. There, having reached his motorcycle, he drove with him to the police station. All this time, the child was wrapped in his jacket, and he was trying to keep him warm. The baby was lying in silence. The police called an ambulance for the baby, took him to the hospital, and made all the necessary examinations. The baby turned out to be healthy with a mild degree of hypothermia, but he soon recovered completely. Therefore, the dog, abandoned by its previous owners, couldn't forsake the helpless newborn baby and rushed to its rescue with unwavering devotion. Selflessly, it darted toward the mysterious object below, what turned out to be an umbrella, a detail that puzzled onlookers. Thanks to its newfound fame, the dog ultimately found a compassionate and caring family who christened it Blackie. Following the public dissemination of this heartwarming narrative, two prominent organizations, Hope for Strays and Paw's Chen Project, expressed keen interest. They joined forces to honor the courageous dog and its gracious family, delivering an array of toys and treats for Blackie, along with provisions for its new human companions. On their Instagram page, they penned a post underscoring that this story serves as a poignant testament to dogs as genuine members of our families. It reaffirms that, despite some humans' betrayals, dogs continue to place their trust in people and care for them. This chronicle garnered widespread acclaim within the city, leaving one pondering whether Blackie's former owners ever stumbled upon it. The contemplation lingers. Did their hearts ache, even a fraction, for having discarded such a magnificent and devoted companion like Blackie into the abyss of abandonment?